welcome to the UI Cafe. This is where seniors eat Monday through Friday. And I'm a volunteer in the kitchen. And I've learned some facts about the lunch program. Did you know that UI Kai lunch program is the model for 40 nutrition programs in Santa Clara County? 70 people ate here Friday. But in addition, they delivered to 30 housebound seniors who cannot come here and are no longer cooking, so they're delivered. And in a recent survey, they were asked, what's your favorite meal that you get delivered? The most common response was, everything. You know Peggy?
Yes.
Oh, you're going to say that. And I said, Peggy, why are you with a dress every day? He said, I'm not a farmer. I said, why are you dressed this way? I want to show respect to the people at my table. That's why I dress up. And 4 hours of social interaction with others. She brings joy to us, but also to herself. Otherwise, she might be at home not cooking. So this is the kind of people you're helping today with your donation. So thank you very much. Thank you. So today's topic is Instant Pot Cooking, Bachan's favorites in half the time. So the IP has changed the way Diane and I cook. It's faster, healthier, easier. You hopefully will learn ways to make your cooking faster, healthier, and easier by the end of this session. And the focus is on Japanese food, and much of the Japanese food is traditionally, right, New Year's, you eat it once a year. So I grew up in Los Angeles, one of 5 children. We would have it at my parents' house, or shogatsu. We spent many days cooking and preparing, and everyone got together. So my fondest memories were being with family for those couple days, but also eating the food. What I realize now is I was learning my cultural identity and traditions from the food I ate that day. So they say, oh, Miki, I'm Mikiko. Miki, you have to eat this for fertility, the kazunoko. Okay. This mame, it will bring you good luck or good health, so you ate it. I didn't much like all of it, but I was expected to eat all of it. And so I look forward to it every year. And every year, we still get together. We say, wouldn't Ompan, which I'll show you my picture of my grandmother, wouldn't Ompan love to see us still get together after all these years? So that is my background about traditional Japanese food.
I'm from San Marcos, and it's a small town in northern San Diego County. And now it's on the map and known for one point of interest is California State University, San Marcos. Grew up with lots of cousins, relatives, all in the area, probably no more than 20, 30 minutes apart. And we got together for all the holidays, and we also carried on the tradition of mochitsuki. My aunt, who was almost blind because of her diabetic neuropathy, could still toss that hot mochi as they were pounding it. So that's one thing I do remember about mochitsuki. We also carried on the tradition of at least the men folks would go to house to say Happy New Year to all the relatives and probably have a little sake and of course enjoy all the wonderful foods that my aunties made. And we did this as young girls, but as we got older, of course, we stayed home and helped my mom and grandma with the food for shogatsu. My mom was including more American foods. My sisters and I were responsible for doing the clam dip. Remember that clam dip, onion dip, and the relish plate with the little roses and the olive. When we got older, moved out of the house and had our own families, we go, God, we don't know how to make anything, So luckily my mom lived till 102, so we're still able to give her a call, and when she was over, ask her how to make things. So today my kids really enjoy ozoni, and hopefully they'll take some interest in learning how to make all the New Year's food, not all the some of the New Year's food and the ozoni. So their kids, their young children will become accustomed to those foods, and hopefully they will enjoy it as much as my kids do. So that's my mom, probably maybe in her late 80s.
Okay. So How many of you do not own an Instant Pot or it's still in a box or not? How many of you are more proficient users of an Instant Pot? I've used a couple of recipes. Oh, come on. Thank you. All right. So I'm going to say some things for Rose, which is the first time she's ever seen this pot. So Rose is in the audience. She's never seen an Instant Pot. And I hope that you share your stories of how you use it to help all of us. What is it? First of all, what is the Instant Pot? Where did it come from? Here is Robert Wang. He had a problem. He's a Chinese Canadian. Here is his family. His kids were eating a lot of fast food because he and his wife, who are in the software or computer industry, was doing a lot of fast food. We had 2 young kids fixing a dinner, and actually healthy dinner was challenging. We do a lot of takeout. He did not want that to become a habit with his kids, fast food. So he felt he could invent a machine that would take the place of all the other machines, do all of his cooking. He was uniquely qualified. So he has a PhD in computer science and then a specialization in artificial intelligence. So he was uniquely qualified to do this. Now, he had another problem. He was laid off from his job. So he has 2 years to try to come up with his dream of making the Instant Pot. And so by 2010, it was on the market. How did you find out about the Instant Pot? He had no money for an ad campaign or to have something on TV. How did you find out? From a friend? How many found from a friend? Neighbor? So was it word of mouth? And that's how it grew. It went viral. They didn't have a major budget for advertising. Diane, you want to share how you found out about it?
Well, actually, I didn't know anything about it. My daughter-in-law introduced it to me about 6 years ago. And then she got one for my daughter, and could see how convenient and versatile it was for them. And but I still said at that time, I don't need one, I don't want one, I don't have space for one. Do not get me one. But as I watched them, I thought, maybe about 3 years ago, I finally did buy one. I had to buy one for myself. Oh, and I took my 5-cup rice cooker out of the cupboard into the garage where all my other electric appliances are, and I put my Instant Pot in the cupboard in the kitchen. So I have it right there. So I did find a place for it.
So I got it as an unwanted Christmas gift from my brother-in-law. It's a box. It said programmable. I don't want to program my food. It said pressure cooker. That is very dangerous. So I'm going to take it tomorrow. Thank you, Craig. I will return it to Amazon the next day. So I said, wait, let me give it a try. Let me go on Amazon. Look at the reviews. 2,000 people took the time to put a review. If you look today, 65,000 take the time to write a review. Here's, how did I live without this? I'm going to build a shrine, best purchase ever. And some are essays like this. Oh, who wants to read this essay on the Instant Pot? They're raving about it. Here's the one that caught my attention. Oh no, another word, love, 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 love. Every other one, love, love, love. If a fire broke out and I was taking a shower, instead of grabbing my robe, I would run and cradle the Instant Pot in my slippery arms and run outside. So I said, okay, I'll keep it, and I haven't regretted it. So that sort of convinced me. It's very difficult to find, well, I had to search naked men running. So if I ever run for office, they'll say, oh, remember the time Margaret was looking for a naked man? So anyway, why the Instant Pot? The thing they're raving about it is the pressure cooker function. Not the saute, not the slow cooker. I gave my slow cooker crock pots away, but it's the pressure cooker function that makes things fast and healthy. Because the way it works is steam builds up, it's airtight, the pressure pushes into your food so it keeps all the nutrients, right? If you do the stovetop cooking, all the nutrients evaporate, but it's airtight, it pushes it into your food, that's what makes it healthy. So I'm going to do a very simple thing for Rose. This is the easiest thing. Where is Rose? There she is. She's never seen an Instant Pot before. So Rose, this is steamed vegetables. Steamed vegetables. And I'm going to do this. Oh, it's really easy to use the lid. Okay, now, Diane and I had this for 3 years. We never realized there's a rest here. So we were going like this, where am I going to put the lid? There's a rest here. You know that? All right, so what I'm going to do, but I'm going to leave it here because I'm doing the old-fashioned way. I'm putting it here. You have a steam basket. This is good to have, purchase about $8 or $10. You put your vegetables in here, any kind of vegetables. It's super for artichokes, right? 15 minutes, it's perfect, perfect. Put your steamed vegetables, you put it in here, then you remove the lid. I didn't rehearse this part, okay? Forget all the buttons, Roux. You don't need them. You forget about soup, meat, rice, multigrain. Diane and I have made stew, we've never used those buttons. We've made soup, we've never used those buttons. We made chicken, I've made chili, never used those buttons. Ignore those buttons. Roux, where are you? Are you taking notes? All right. Roux, all you need is manual. In some models it says manual, in some models it say pressure cook. Push that button. Now you have to set the time, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's all you need, and you're done. If you saute, that's another thing, but just basically forget all the other buttons. Don't be intimidated. So I'm going to set this. You may think it's 0. There's a pressure cooker from a different model. It says pressure cook, plus and minus. The pressure cook is way at the top, plus or minus. That's at the time. This is the fancy one from Kathy. She doesn't even have to, she just turns one knob. They make it easier and easier. So let's say I'm ready to do the steamed vegetable. It's set at 12 because the last time I used it, I used 12 minutes. So I press the button minus, 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 minus until I go to 0. I want 0. I don't even want a minute. I want 0. The Instant Pot is not very good about vegetables, honestly. Mushy, mushy. So I'm going to set this at 0. Manual, 0. Now I walk away. That's it. So the pressure is going to build because I have water in there. And there's a little knob, a little silver thing. That means it's on. On means it's building pressure. It's not on. It's on. It's building pressure. When it's ready, you should see a number. But I don't even have a number because I did 0. But as soon as Diane sees this little thing pop up, I'll remove it and take it out. There's the on button, my fake on button. Okay, so this is the problem. Yes, question, good, because I have to do something while you're using it. Yes.
What water did you put in there?
You have a minimum of a cup. Always have 1 cup. 1 cup. This is a question I cannot answer. What is the difference between oden and nishime? Yes, Al thinks he knows.
My interpretation of what's the difference between the two is on the nishime, it's more on the festive end of it. Like on New Year's Day, you have, pozole, we have different types of Japanese food. And for most of us, we have it during that period of time. And then if you have mochi or anything else that is included in your menu, you use it in January, right after New Year's Day, and then you get it back January of the following year because you don't ever use it again. But then with their explanation and demonstration, I think you'll be able to use and not have them left over for a year old.
Was that an explanation? Well, here's another one. She's thinking about a dish that is not nishime or oden without chicken. Who knows the answer to that one?
It does have chicken.
Oh, it does have chicken. It's not nishime. It's not.
It's like nishime.
It's what? Go ahead.
It's like nishime and you have chicken in it, but our family used a different name.
Umani.
It's umani.
Umani.
Umani?
Thank you.
Are you Fukuoka?
You're from a different can. It's
Fukuoka.
umani?
Umani. That's
Okay.
We have some color umani.
Okay, all right. That's you. Umani.
like nishime with chicken.
Okay. So when we say 0 on the Instant Pot minute, it's really not 0. You have to wait for it to warm up. I'll be perfectly honest. Okay, we're waiting how many minutes here to warm it up? Okay, so just remember that. But you can be doing other things here. You could be over here on your laptop. You could be taking your laundry. You don't have to watch this because the timer has a brain in it. And as soon as it's ready, it'll beep. So you don't have to babysit this. Like a stovetop, you'd have to be watching the vegetables, tasting it, but you could walk away. Who else has questions since we're very oh, here's something. I have the 3-quart Instant Pot. What is the ratio for cutting down recipes? It's half. You use half because you won't fit, a whole chicken in there. Half, but you use the same amount of water at the beginning and you half your recipe. The same time though, if you do, let's say, whatever, it takes 30 minutes on the big pot, you still have to use 30 minutes on the small pot, but you use half the amount. Half of the recipe, half the amount of the chicken. Does that answer your question? Who else has a question? Yes.
I was cooking with it last night, and I noticed these symbols on the top. I think one's pressure, or,
Yes.
But I set my own kitchen timer for the 10 minutes or the 3 minutes
Yes.
for the curry recipe. But is my timer not correct? I should go buy the pot, because I wound up, watching, like, isn't it supposed to beat that meat? And then, it was, does it take a long time for it to warm up? I guess that's...
Yes, it does.
Oh.
On, when it reaches pressures, it will say 10 minutes.
Okay, so don't set a kitchen timer.
No, because remember on, and then 10 minutes. And then once the 10 minutes is over, your pressure stops. Let me see if I have the one, no, let's see if I have the one that has the low on it.
It doesn't count down, so it's a little sweet.
Okay, I hope you're not getting dizzy, but I think I had one in which it had LOOO. Oh, there it is. So once your pressure stops, it goes to warm function. That means it's warm. And then it starts counting up. You do need a timer for this because, you do need a timer for this part while it's cooling down, because some recipes say natural release it in 10 minutes. So you have to flip it and release it. If it's stew or something, you can wait. It doesn't matter if it goes to 50 because the stew is fine. It's just, is it perking up?
It went down.
Oh, it did? It went down? So you have to, I'm going to do a quick release, which means I want to get it out here right away, instead of waiting. And so it's hot. So, but this one is nice because it has a pad. You put this in here, and you dump it out. Woo! You notice that I do little bigger chunks because I tried small chunks and it's mushy. I'll let this cool off and let you taste them and tell me if it's mushy. So there is very simple vegetable. Artichokes are about 15 minutes. So you can fit 3 in a big pot. But if you have 4 people, you have to do it again. But it's only 15 minutes. Hey, it's only 15 minutes. So it's perfect every time. Now we have the professionals. Now, to be honest, Diane and I and the committee have never made nishime, kurumane with an Instant Pot. So what we've learned and failed at, you will benefit from today. Okay? So we have a professional. Her name is Nami Hirasawa Chen. You must go to her website, JustOneCookbook. I have permission to show her videos, to print her recipes. You have to get permission. You can't just be doing this, So I have her permission. She's professional. And someone mentioned that her photography, her husband is a photographer, her videos are really good. So we're going to do nishime. Is there a Japanese translation for that? Nishime? Does it mean anything? Okay. So basically you have the recipe there and the ingredients, and you will have some today. So let's watch her video. Oh, yeah. Why are you coming? Probably the warm-up would take, when it's on, maybe 10 minutes to warm it, the steam up, or bring it to pressure. But the actual cooking is 2 minutes. You set your plus and minus to 2 minutes. That's it, because of pressure. Fran and I made the nishine. So Fran, do you have any comments about the aji or anything? Very simple to make. The cutting is the one, you probably won't do all these different things, but we went to Marukai to try to find a dashi that doesn't have MSG. So this is the Marukai brand, and France tend to use a combination of kombu and bonito flavored. So we use half-half in both of those, but this has no MSG. The others, like hondashi and everything, does have MSG, so we found that to be pretty good. Yes, Rick.
2 minutes.
2 minutes cooking.
And then instant release.
Yes, yeah. Because even with the instant release, you can't remove it. It's going to take a while, maybe a minute, but yeah, 2 minutes. Because it's cooking while it's warming up too. But it's a pressure of 2 minutes. Pretty fast.
But I noticed when you were steaming the vegetables, that you took the lid off immediately.
That's quick release. Because I didn't want, if I left it in there,
Cook on
it would cook, it would get soggy. Southern folks like their green beans 20 minutes on pressure. I said, whoa. They also like bacon in there. So 20 minutes green beans with bacon. I said, wow. Japanese curry rice is something that Diane will. How many of you make curry rice? It's pretty easy, isn't it? Yeah, you use the pack.
Okay, so you want to put your pot onto saute, and you want to and I put a tablespoon of oil in there. So you want to make sure your oil is hot. You never want to put cold meat into a cold pot because then it'll start sticking. So oil and hot heat is important.
Could you tell me how to do the different levels for saute?
Oh, okay. It's like a low, medium, high.
There's a low, medium, high. So sometimes you want to move. It's like stovetop cooking. Saute. So you just press it and saute by go low, medium, high. For the one you want. So, are you doing it? You're doing normal? It should be high. High. Oh, yeah, she has more, so it's high. So it's probably less, normal, more. So she's on more, the high. And you have to wait for that pan to stay hot. Just like you do cooking, you wait till it's hot.
Get your onions a little wilty. One thing about sauteing, if you're sauteing meats and you want it real brown or crispy, it doesn't quite work. It never gets that high, so just realize that. Gets a little wilted. I'm going to put my ginger and my garlic in there. I'm going to stir that around. And I've already cut up my meat, and I salt and peppered it already. And then I'm going to put my meat in there. And it doesn't really have to be brown, just kind of stir it up so it gets a little oil. So maybe turn a little white, but otherwise it really doesn't have to be cooked all the way through. But her video is very good. If you forget the step or whatever, you can watch her video because she has a precise way to cut things, and her onions are cut in a special way. And put some broth in here. It's about 3 cups, but since there's so many of you, maybe I'll just use something. And then the potatoes. I'm just going to do everything at once for the demo. At home, I would probably cook my chicken in broth first, and then I would cook my vegetables later. Half medium and half mild. So it really depends on your flavor. When I first made it, I started out with just mild, just a half a box, and the flavor was okay, but And then talking to Margaret, she says, "Oh, I only use the 2 little packets." I go, "Okay."
I'm cutting down on sodium.
Okay, let's see. I'm going to cancel. I'm going to cancel. And then make sure your little knob is at sealing, because I made some things and wondered, why is it making so much noise? Well, I forgot to put it on sealing. It was off on venting. So I'm gonna put it on pressure cook, and I'm gonna just do it for maybe about 10 minutes. Okay, so it's on sealing, it's sealed, it's on pressure high, and 10 minutes. Oh, you have that, okay.
So originally she had 12 minutes, but someone else made it fine with 10 minutes, the vegetables were fine, so we're cutting it down to 10 minutes.
Her suggested was 15. Her suggested was 15 on the stew and meat function.
Too much.
And it was real mushy. I even kept my vegetables whole. Oh, Chris?
I did it on 8.
You did it 8?
And the vegetable was soft.
Soft. Oh, it's still soft at 8, so maybe 10.
So you have to play with it. Remember,
Yeah.
you can undercook, but once your vegetables are spongy, you turn on.
And you don't have to put it back on pressure. You can put it on saute and it'll continue to cook. So I'm always conscious about salt. So I do use the low sodium chicken broth. It's about a quarter the amount of sodium that's in a regular box. She suggests also adding a tablespoon of shoyu after it's cooked. So that's another way you can modify it. You can make your own curry Roux recipe, and she has one in her cookbook, and I've tried it. And it's a matter of making the roux with the butter and the flour, and you have to keep stirring it for about 20 minutes. So, it's not something you can do that day if you don't have much time. You're just coming back from work, so that might not work. But it will stay in your refrigerator or freezer for 3 to 4 months. So I did make it. It has garam masala, and I didn't even know what that was. So I go to Safeway, and it's about $8 or $10 for the can. I'm not buying that. But I remember at Sprouts that you can buy it in bulk. You can measure it out with a little scoop, and it measures in grams. And this amount for 3 servings, 3 recipes is 87 cents or 79 cents. So I think most of your East Indian markets should have that. So look for the bulk. And if you don't have time and you're busy, you're on a tight schedule, you could cut your vegetables in it, your meat ahead. Maybe your potatoes should be in water. Your carrots could probably be in maybe a Ziploc bag. So you have that ready to go. So I really played around with the vegetables. The first I cooked it 12 minutes, and it was mushy. I cooked it at 10 minutes, it was still mushy. So I said, forget it, I'm just gonna leave the vegetables out and just saute it at the end. And then my meat got all, shredded. So that didn't work. So Margaret says, oh, I usually just cook it for 6 to 8 minutes and then add my vegetables after that and maybe cook the vegetables for 3 minutes. And maybe put those curry packets in at that time. And quick release it, taste your vegetables, and see if it's what you'd like. But it is just like the Americans do, except for the spice. And the difference between Japanese curry and American curry, Japanese curry is a little sweeter, heavy, thicker, and not as spicy as Indian curry.
What if you want to add more vegetables in a carrot
sure.
and potato?
I think I have more carrots today.
Oh, no.
Oh.
But what if you wanted to add celery or other vegetables?
There are options, yeah. You could, I always put celery in mine.
Nami. Add it at the same time as the carrots and potato?
Well, depending on how, we talked about 8 minutes, 10 minutes. So you have to kind of play with it. But
if you increase vegetables, does the cooking time need to be increased? Because this recipe is only for 2 vegetables.
no.
It shouldn't make a difference, not at all. Also, if you're using a regular curry recipe and it says 3 cups, put a cup and a half, because you use no water from evaporation, it's airtight. So if you put 3 cups in like your regular recipe, you're going to have like soup. So half your liquid, because no water escapes. It's all in the broth, it's going to go back into the food. vegetables have moisture too, so you're going to get moisture from your celery. Let's do a video here. Takikomi rice. This is, again,
Now let's get started.
If any of you make takikomi, try this recipe. How about the people who made it in the committee? Yes.
It was really easy. It was amazing.
Tell me about the difference. And again, the time was, what was the time on that previous 2 minutes? 3 minutes. 3 minutes. And naturally aged cheese. So once 3 minutes was up, there's another 10 minutes you have to sit there. So you have to have your own timer to set it for 10 minutes, let it steam. So you're really ready in 13 minutes. You're doing other things while it's there. You're doing your laundry, or watching your Korean drama. Right. Now, those of you who don't even want to do this and want to be faster, you buy these types of ready-made takikomi. There's a vegetable, a clam, a mushroom. And so Fran made the clam one, but so many mushrooms, it was very good. So it's already pre-seasoned, you do the rice, you throw that on top. These are about $5. Nami or without beans. Again, for video.
Now let's get started. This is a non-cooking. I have made, but it means soaking, watching, adding more water, several hours work, and sometimes it's hard.
That's why we don't cook it.
Yes, anyone comment on this? Yes.
So I made it with a slow cooker, and my friend gave me the rusty nail with it.
Okay, so remember she had that fish? This is not on, but you can hear me.
Put it on.
Put it on anyway.
Lit it on.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
All right. She put a lucky fish, that cost $30. And the reason you put that is the cast iron has an interaction with the beans, and it makes it black. The blacker the better, because that's the auspicious color, black. I did not want to spend $30 for a lucky fish. I only use once every 5 years. So you can use rusty nails. I had no rusty nails. So I looked online, how do you rust nails? So here are my rusty nails. All you do is soak it in salt. You soak it in salt, leave it a couple days, I left it outside, it gets rusty. You throw these into with the beans, it's blacker. Now, who was that? Jane did it with, she did it in her cast iron pot. If you have a cast iron pot, really black, I don't think she used enough nails. She has 2 batches of brownish. She used, so you want, this type of iron in there. Okay, and then,
Only for soap.
no, don't cook the nails. So here are some other recipes on her site, JustOneCookbook. Ribs, someone made these ribs. Any rib you make, I don't care what barbecue sauce you use, fall off the bone tender, any recipe. Chawanmushi, instant pot. Short ribs, instant pot. Potato salad, some type of thing. She also has on her site different way, tells you about foods like miso, what's white miso, how it's made. She also how to make certain things like anko, things like that. Tons of tips for you if you really want to get into Japanese cooking. It's a wonderful site to visit. Has everyone seen that site before? I know your recipe is very dense, it's very detailed. If you go to her site, for the directions, you'll see pictures of every step. So you could not have to read all that, you look at the pictures. And she has hundreds of recipes, Japanese recipes. And
The website.
it's JustOneCookbook.com. JustOneCookbook, we acknowledged her, that's why we could use hers, because we reference the website.
It's on the last page of our.
It's on the last page, Chris Kimura, board member, said. She's always right. All right. Joe Mochi, very quickly. I have the steps you have in, yes. It's still on? You know why? The more liquid and things you have on there, the longer it takes to heat up.
But that's really long.
Well, when it goes on, we will move forward. Okay, here's Jalamochi. Basically, you can see this video online, but it's very simple according to Debbie and Diane who made it. I have these square pots, 6-inch, that's the only size that fits this. It's a square, you can get it online. I have 8 or 9 that I purchased if anyone wants to buy them today. You put paper towel on it, then cover it with foil, and you remove the paper towel that might be sticky. You cut it, and you cut it. You will have that for dessert today. We used to make mochi manju with the microwave. After 2 days, it got hard. This stays soft. I like to experiment with matcha manju, the tea manju, but this stays soft. Diane?
So she did mention the pan, and again, no more than, if you measure the diameter of your pot, no more than 7 inches. So this works well. I looked around in my kitchen, and this is all I had. That was 6 inches, around 6 inches in diameter. Anytime you use an insert pot like that, you need to have a trivet. And because it's so close to the edge of your instant pot, you need to have some way to protect your hands. You can't stick your hand in there. So you do need something like, this is borrowed from a friend, but it's great because it has handles and you can set your container right on there and it snaps and you can just pull it out at the same, with one hand. If you don't want to invest, I think it was $15, you can just do an aluminum foil sling. And it's just about 24, 25 inches long, and about 2 or 3 inches, well, 2.5, 3 inches wide. So you would put your pot onto that, and set it into your pot. And then when it's done, you can just pull it out, and you're not going to burn your hands or anything. So this is really important to have that. But also, you need some kind of a trivet. You can't put it right onto the heating element. You always have to have a trivet. I just got this pan today, and it's from Bed Bath & Beyond. Yeah, and it was $9, $10, and this will also fit. Yeah. So, but anyway, if you put your Jell-O in that, you do have funny angles. So, but we got about 20 pieces out of this pan. And you turn mochiko. You really need either mochiko or cornstarch. Otherwise, it's very, very sticky. So be sure you're very, very generous about putting that in the bottom of the pan when you're cutting it. And you have little tools like this. You know, some kind of cutting tool. Plastic seems to be best because it won't stick. So, even just a plastic knife. I think spraying it, if you use Pam, you do need to spray it because it does stick. But I would kind of wipe it up a little. Don't spray it too. Spray it nice, very generously, but be sure to mop it up because it does get kind of greasy looking sometimes.
Oh, I was talking to Lynn Santo and how they make their mochi and the manju. They have huge amounts of rice. They put it to the rice cook, the mochi maker, and then they flop it out, and you have to do it by hand. Remember the old-fashioned way to do that? And form it into little balls. It's a lot of labor, right? Labor, would you say? But you make very good mochi at Santa Market. This, what's the time on this? 35 minutes? And it's done. You don't have to mix anything, so it's done very easy. We have our favorites that have nothing to do with Japanese cooking, but it's really useful things. Diane, fish and parchment?
Oh, okay. This is kind of a go-to recipe. I buy my fish, get parchment paper, place my fish on there, and you can season it anyway with pesto, with just lemon and olive oil and little green onions or something. And I usually do like a Chinese style steamed fish with the sesame oil, green onions, ginger, and maybe a little white wine or maybe meeting or something. Wrap it up, 3 minutes on high pressure and quick release. You don't want to overcook your fish. That's the worst thing about fish. But you can make different varieties. If your kids are there, they'd rather have teriyaki sauce, or somebody else wants just plain fish, or maybe a miso mayonnaise kind of sauce. You can do that. Just wrap it up, put it in there. On a trivet though, you need to put it on the trivet. You can't put it right in water. But it's very easy.
Yes.
What if it's frozen? Can you store it?
Yeah, then you have to cook it a little longer, maybe 8 to 10 minutes. But there is a website that we included in the handout, and it's called Instant Pot Fish and Shellfish, and they have a chart there that you could use.
So here's my favorite, because we like potato salad, 4-minute potato salad. So before I make the potato, you cook, on the stove top, and some are big, I leave them and I come back and the skins are falling off. And sometimes mothers, they're too hard, your chunks are too hard. So here's my potato salad, 1 cup of water in there. You put in chunks of potato and the 4 eggs in there at the same time. There they are inside. You cook it for 4 minutes. When it's done, you take it out, you leave your potatoes, they're cooling. While those are cooling, you ice your eggs. You get perfect eggs all the time. Every single time. They're not soft, they don't have that green thing around them, they're perfect. And you have potato salad. So it's really, really good. Use your own recipe for potato salad. Noodles are easy too, because you can get a pound of noodles, put 4 cups of water, you take them out, and they're already absorbed the water. You have no water to dump out. So you take it out, I usually cool it off quickly, and then make macaroni salad. So, any questions? Anyone else has recipe? You were saying mac and cheese for your kids? Lindsay and Carrie, what were you, tell us what's good?
Mac and cheese is easy because it's just milk, butter, and cheese.
You put that in there and risotto?
Yeah, rice, it's really easy, just with mushrooms and chicken broth.
And they like it because it's fast. Any other people who make recipes that are favorites? So is there such a thing as healthy, cheap, fast food? Because that's what we're trying to promote. Healthy, it's fast, it's cheap. Here is my brother-in-law, Craig, who recently had a smash burger. He said, gee, that wasn't much for $12 because the hamburger was small. And, you know, the French fries were overflowing. $12. He also got his full quotient of sodium for the day. Actually, more than the American Heart Association says. This is what. Here's Al over here. Al, right there. Al decided he's going to try the Instant Pot. He buys a chicken, a whole chicken cut up, for about $5 or $6, 3 or 4 pounds. He buys a couple onions, a couple carrots, a couple onions, carrots, celery, maybe some chicken broth. And so he has enough, and some noodles. He has enough to make a healthy lunch for dinner. He also has 2 extra containers of about 8 ounces to freeze for a later meal. Now he also has leftover celery, carrot, onions. He could make the next day. He has oh, by the way, he kept 2 of the thighs out. He didn't put the thighs in. He kept the 2 thighs out. So he has enough for curry the next day if he wants. All the ingredients are there and it's in the pot. Maybe he freeze half of that, or he could make tokikomi rice. He has a little bit of maybe chicken. He has celery, carrots, maybe mushroom. 3 ingredient tokikomi rice. So look at all he received for $12, and it's healthy. Does that make sense? If you cook with an Instant Pot. So accessories, Diane will show you accessories. We're almost finished, so Diane is going to show accessories.
We already talked about the steamer basket, Margaret's steamer basket, and it's really handy because it has a handle. The one I have an Investa. How much was this?
About $10.
$10. Okay, so I have a classical steamer basket, and I've done yams, potatoes, artichokes, corn. But the only thing I can't, I don't have a handle, so I have to pull everything out one by one. So steamer baskets are a must. Your trivets, you get one with your steamer pot, the one here, and it's great because it has a handle. So you do need your trivet. I did invest in a set of 3, high, medium, and low. And I probably only used the medium and low. I haven't ever used this, but But again, you do anything you put on. If you put a container in your pot, then you have to have a trivet. So trivets are very important. Every cookbook and every web video will suggest having extra rings, and the ring is so important for your Instant Pot. Otherwise, it won't build up to pressure. So you do periodically check your ring to see if there's any cracks or anything. And some people are very sensitive to odors, so maybe you don't want your spicy curry mixed, and you use it with your cheesecake or your yogurt. So maybe this would be for the delicate flavors, and this would be for your spicy, savory. Actually, I've had it for a long time. I haven't used it, but they do recommend it. They don't go out on Amazon and look for everything and say, I need this, I need that, because this has not a box. This is the egg steamer. You can cook 14 eggs at once, and the cheesecake maker. So, but look through your cupboards, see if you have containers that are probably no more than 6 or 7 inch diameter or square. And it has to be oven safe. It can be Corningware, stainless, Pyrex. Any of those are oven safe, so those are important. Most of them recommend a lid, but after we found I haven't really used it. But I think if you have a party or if you're like a potluck or something and you didn't want to deal with this heavy lid, this would be okay. But not for Instant Pot. You have to use this for the pressure cooker. This is for the slow cook or sauteing, and then timer. I think if you're doing a slow release and it's timed, then you do need your timer.
Oh, the double pot.
Oh yeah. These are stackables, and like if you wanted to cook fish in one and vegetables in another, you do have to have things that cook at the same time. But it's good for reheating. If you don't want to use your microwave, and my daughter-in-law doesn't like microwaves, so she would need something like this. But it has to sit off the heating element. And I guess this little bit of sitting off is okay, I try to get a trivet under that, but nothing will fit because it can't be more than 7 inches high either. But it's good because it has a handle, and it kind of has 2 pots, and there's a lid for it. You can either use it separately, or you can use it separately and put it on a trivet.
So, to alter your favorite recipes, I mentioned you want to have at least 1 cup of water inside your whatever you're cooking. You cut the liquid in half. You cut down your cooking time in these taps. So if the recipe says do the stew for an hour and a half, it's usually like 30 minutes. It's much faster. Tips. The tips we have, the main tip is keep your own chart of your cooking, right? In other words, if the recipe says 12 minutes and you try it's too mushy, you have to on your recipe say 8 minutes next time, because everyone is different in terms of that. Any other tips that you can think of here? Manual pressure. You're just going to basically use your manual pressure for 95% of your cooking, ignoring the other buttons. But I use them, but not very often. A quick chart for reference. Diane keeps a food diary. So our traditions change, don't they, in terms of a shogatsu food. And here's last year our food, and we have some strange things like tri-tip and macaroni salad and wonton, and someone even has chili for New Year's. It's not very traditional. But we still get together. We don't even get together on New Year's. It's the closest Saturday because people have to fly back to Minnesota or New York. And we have a lot of non-Japanese now. 9 of Kristen's cousins, all of them have married non-Japanese. So they're not going to eat nishime. So it's actually smaller and smaller. That portion of, you'll see the little traditional food, that's store-bought. So the rest is, we make kimpira though, everyone likes kimpira. So our hope, Diane and I hope that in the future, our grandchildren will say, remember when how happy Grandma Tomita and Grandma Iwamura would be, we still get together and enjoy the nishine and the kuromame they made in their Instant Pot. That is our hope. So, thank you. So, you cannot leave here without a plan or an action. We didn't do all this work for you to sit and take notes.
Okay, the most important thing I learned today was that there's so many accessories to get with the Instant Pot.
Just not that important. Okay, what else? Yes.
I plan to take it out of my box.
Big, that's big. That's fine. There we go. One more. She gets another one. That's big. It's been 2 years. Yes.
Can I just ask a question?
We'll give you a brush.
Has anyone been successful making the cheesecake? I tried it. The center was always mushy. The outside was cooked perfectly. And I took an class.
I have an answer for you. Yes. Over there.
I did it.
Stand up so we can go ahead. What do you do?
And it turned out good.
I think it was the Soldel. Have you heard of that? So let me give you the microphone.
So there's another website, This Old Gal, and she has a lot of recipes too, but I tried her cheesecake and it worked. And then there's the Amy and Jackie, the number 17 cheesecake. A lot of people do that.
Okay, thank you.
If you have a question like that, just Google it. Why does my Instant Pot thing fall? You will get 30 answers. There's 1.5 million users of Facebook worldwide. One of them will have the answer for you. So anyway, thank you very much. Thank you. All right, thank
Yeah, you should try it. I understand you can buy frozen ingredients for nishime.
Yes, I forgot to show
Would
the
that work?
picture. Yes, won't taste as good as fresh, but yes, you can use it.
Hard-boiled eggs.
Perfect. You need a steamer though, because you want to keep it away from the,
You need a steamer basket.
you have to keep it away from the water. Anything to keep it. You can use a little trivet, make sure your egg is not touching water. Right?
You need the basket.
You could have a bowl, your Pyrex bowl, couldn't you, for eggs? Just any kind of bowl that you can put in your Pyrex bowl. And just put 4 eggs in there. Make sure you have the water in the bottom. Close it. They say 5, 5, 5. 5 minutes, high pressure. 5 minutes, let it set for 5 minutes. 5 minutes ice bath. 5, 5, 5.
Oh, and that's your egg thing. So there's a little device and it's gonna let off steam and you don't know what to do, but putting the towel down is a good solution. I saw the word burn. What does that mean?
So
I know what I did, but
So the Instant Pot has 10 features that keep it completely safe. The burn function, the burn mechanism means that you have a tiny piece of starch at the bottom. It doesn't mean it's going to go black. It's not burning like, I know you burn things on the stove top it turns black. It's different. So it's a tiny piece of pasta or a tiny bit of rice. We had a little bit of, Fran had a new Instant Pot. We did the takikomi, everything. I've never seen the burn notice. It said burn. So all you do is stop, lift the lid, and just scrape off that little piece that is sticking. Fold it in and just continue. Burn means there's a tiny piece of starch. That's why when you make pasta, you want your meat sauce below, your pasta above, because pasta will stick. Does that make sense? Also, if you're making stew, you want to make sure you add the flour at the last. Don't do too much flour for your beef stew. Make sure you do it last. It's less apt for one of those meats to go to the bottom and get a little burn right there. So don't be afraid burn, just put cancel and just scrape it out, whatever that small pot is. He burned a lot of pots to get to this place. He really did, to get to it, but it's perfectly safe. It will not make it all black. So if you walk away from your pot, it will keep your food warm for 10 hours. 10 hours. But it won't get black.
So now that I've got it out of the box, now I'm ready to try those recipes. So good luck to you, and well, maybe we should have an Instant Pot potluck,
This is cooking demo number 4. So I saw that a lot of people, this is the first cooking demo they've come to that the lecture series has put on. We do have a binder that for people who are repeat attendees, you can add those recipes to a growing binder.
The last drawing, and again, this was donated, will go to lucky person. Oh, sorry, I always have to say this. We are all winners, yes. But someone is going to be lucky to take home the 6th pot. All right, so the number is 841701. Yes.